There's really nothing left to do but hit play here, so here we go. It all starts in 3, 2, 1.
One good thing to warm you up when you're cold is a good hot drink of coffee or chocolate. And the other day, last week in fact, they installed a special machine in the guard room so that the guardsmen could have a hot drink the moment they came off parade, and there it is.
I want to be a dive bomber.
Will they ever get off this damn island? This is the morning stream.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to TMS, the morning stream. It's February 18th. It's 2020. I'm Scott. He's Brian. Hi, Brian.
Hi, Scott.
There's water right here.
Straight to the point.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Brian.
Getting right to the business.
Show. We're doing it.
Hey, do you remember, you were a big Lost fan. Do you remember when that show ended? What was the year it ended?
Let's see. Started in 2004. Did 5.5 seasons. So 2009, 2010.
Okay.
Something like that.
So we are 10 years past the finale of that show. Wow.
And I still don't understand a damn thing that happened.
Yeah. This is all true. This is all true. All right. Well,
None of it makes any sense.
I don't know why that feels crazy to me, but it just feels like 10 years ago. That just feels like it was less than that. It feels like it was like 2014, 2013 or something. But clearly,
no,
I have it wrong. It's
because so many shows did that whole weird thing right after it. That whole, like, there was the flash forward. There was, we just finished watching the first season of Emergence, which was actually really good.
Emergence.
This was a network TV show.
Okay.
Starring Allison Tolman, who you really liked in Fargo.
I do like her a lot in Fargo. She's great.
She's really good in this. But this is kind of one of those things that's like, oh, we've set up a mystery, and every episode maybe answers a question, but asks 2 or 3 more. And when we had on America's Next Top Podcaster, we had Ptolemy Slocum on as a guest. He was in the middle of shooting his stuff for Emergence.
Oh, now I remember him mentioning that. That's yeah. I remember at the time going, oh yeah, Emergence. It sounds like something I would maybe sort of get into. It's already done though, right? Canceled or whatever. It's gone.
I don't know if it's been canceled. The first season ended. I don't know if it's gotten a renewal, but
Emergence. Emergence. I just want to see because for some reason. Am I thinking of the right show? Oh, here it is. 2019. You're right. It hasn't been canceled. It's still going.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I like that Allison Tolman a lot. She's awesome in there.
She's great. Yeah.
Okay.
Donald Faison, Clancy Brown. Clancy freaking Brown is in this.
Yeah. That guy's in he was in that
SpongeBob
Mandalorian.
SquarePants.
Well, yeah, but he was in that Mandalorian episode. He was the big devil dude. And
He was, and I think he has another Star Wars connection. If I'm correct, I'm in the middle of season 2 of Rebels, and I could swear there's a dude who's got the voice of Clancy Brown. I'm pretty sure. Well, he's providing the voice.
And this swings all the way back to what I originally talked about was Lost. He was on season 2 of Lost. So
he was right.
Yeah, he's the one that left the hatch and left what's his name there to deal with stuff. Right? Wasn't that the deal?
No, he was somebody else in Lost. He was the guy who left Desmond in the hatch was.
I thought that was him.
Was that Clancy Brown?
I thought that was Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown was definitely... No, I thought Clancy Brown was...
I could have sworn that Desmond was just like hanging around in the hatch waiting for Clancy Brown to come back or something like that. Do I not have that right?
I thought there was another guy who played Inman. No, you're right. It was Inman. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that his name? Is Inman?
Inman. Hold on a second. Inman.
Yeah, he was Kelvin Inman, it says.
Kelvin Inman.
And he was only 2 episodes. I thought it was more than that. But Live Together, Die Alone, and One of Them. Those are the 2 episodes he was in. Let's see. Live Together, Die Alone. After discovering a sailboat offshore, Desmond, Jack, and Saeed come up with a plan to confront the others. Okay, that's not really helpful.
No, okay, good. This is what I was remembering. He's the guy who works with Saeed when Saeed's doing the interviews and finds the woman that he's obsessed with.
Oh.
Desmond, the guy that was in the hatch with Desmond, was another actor that I'm trying to remember.
No, I know this.
Yes.
The guy with the weird, huge hips.
Yes, right.
He was on season 1 of Justified. He played Crowder's dad. He was Dad Crowder, and he died in it.
Mm-hmm.
His name is William F. Gainey.
Gainey, yes.
Gainey? Is it William F. or some kind of Gainey last name?
It is Gainey.
Yep, you're right. I have conflated those two guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've done it. I finally did it.
What is the guy's name? Is it William F. Gainey? The last name Gainey is absolutely right.
It's MC Gainey. There it is.
MC Gainey. Yes.
Yeah, he's a rapper. He's a famous rapper, MC Gainey. That's the guy. Yeah, he was in Con Air and Wild Hogs and everything. He's in everything.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy's great. I love that guy.
Michael Connor Gainey.
Yep. He's
Yo,
cool.
MC Gainey.
Is he around still? Yep, he's still with us. Those hips haven't taken him down yet.
That's really funny, his hips. I've never even thought about MC Gainey's hips.
He's got insane hips. If you go, just watch him in
anything.
anything.
We've given people a really good band name that somebody needs to use. MC Gainey's hips.
Yeah, MC Gainey's hips. Don't wear them out or something. But they're beastly, those hips.
And TVZ Gun confirms that, yes, Clancy Brown did do Montross. Ryder Azadi in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, okay. See, we got all this stuff has come around again.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched.
The guy who wears a really silly big hat. Although in this photo he's not wearing a really silly big hat.
I watched a little bit of SpongeBob over the weekend, and so it's everything we're talking about has come full circle. This is fantastic.
Wow, totally has. Jeez.
Yeah.
Are you going to go see that new movie?
Yeah,
movie?
I think Carter and I will go because my kids are like diehard SpongeBob fans, but they're okay. This is what this generation of kids will tell you. SpongeBob was only good until the end of its 3rd season. That's what they'll tell you, because it was the 4th season that the creator took off, and it was up to other people to make it work, and that they just were never great on the TV show ever again. However, the movies are good because he would come back and work on those, although he died a couple of years ago or a year ago, whatever it was. So I don't know if he has anything to do with this new one or not. But
gotcha.
But the movies were
season
good.
Season 3 is when SpongeBob swam under the shark.
Yeah, or I guess the beginning of season 4, because technically 3 is great all the way through. But they will tell you that from like 99 through 2002 or 3, whatever it was, those seasons are the golden years, and everything since then, and it still runs today, is just garbage. Like not even like where people complain about The Simpsons, because I actually think The Simpsons is maybe a little uneven, but I think they're making really great work right now. They're very funny right now. Whereas SpongeBob just kind of like dropped off on that 4th season and then just was poo from then on. So that's what they say. I'm not saying it's true. It's an unverifiable thing for me. I don't know. All I know is my kids who were raised on SpongeBob. The kids are saying. Yeah. They were like raised on SpongeBob. They just don't think anything past season 3 is worth a hoot. Except the film. So we're going to go see the film, judge it on its own merits. But they love like the first
Keanu
movie.
Reeves.
Yeah, he plays a bush. He's a bush in there, a sage.
Yes, a sage, and apparently it's got their own version of Atlantic City or Vegas or something in there. So
yeah, they call it the Lost City of Atlantic City.
That's what it is.
Which is pretty great. And also, so I was asked. This is so funny. You brought this up. So on the weekend, I was asking Carter. I said, "All right, let's get this straight. SpongeBob, the first movie, was all hand animated, just like normal animation. The second one, where they were kind of superheroes, it was hand animated to a point, and then they all got powers and it became a 3D animated
3D CGI kind of stuff. Okay.
And
I never saw the second one.
And now the new one is 100% top to bottom 3D CGI, but it has a quality to it that's almost like
cell shading kind of to make it look like
almost like that, or almost like stop motion-y weirdly. It's weird.
Yeah, stop motion. That's a better.
I don't know if it's just the frame rate. You know, it's got kind of that lower frame rate or something, kind of like they did in Spider-Verse. It's hard to explain, but
it is really funny that so before the live action or the animated shorts, they showed a bunch of animated movie trailers, and it's funny. What was funny about it is that, you know, the animated shorts for the Oscars this year were like cancer, terminal illness, animal abuse, Alzheimer's. But before it, you get Trolls and Scooby-Doo the movie and SpongeBob. And the thing about those two, SpongeBob and Scooby-Doo, they basically have the same scene in the trailer where the main character meets their sidekick for the first time, and SpongeBob meets Gary, and Shaggy meets Scooby for the first time.
Oh, weird.
In those trailers.
Oh, wow. They're really tugging at our.
Maybe we don't need that anymore. Maybe we don't need the prequels where. I don't need to know how the Blue Falcon met Dynomutt. Thanks.
Yeah, I kind of don't. I really don't need to know. You tell me a story that's new, unless it has some, it's like telling me how Batman lost his parents again. I don't care how Bruce Wayne's parents died.
Right, exactly, yes.
I'm done with that. Boy, that's the real test. When this Max Reeves movie comes out, and I'm stoked about it, by the way, because forget about, casting or whatever. A lot of people have trouble with what's his name being Batman.
Pattinson, sure.
I don't care. It doesn't matter who's Batman to me. What matters to me is overall tone and structure and how they treat the world and all that, Gotham, and that matters more to me. Mm-hmm. And I think Matt Reeves is really great. And I think I say Max Reeves before? I meant Matt. Matt Reeves is very good and killed it with those monkey movies. What were those called? Planet of the Apes movies. Those were amazing.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So I think I have all these high hopes for it. But here's the big litmus test. Do you force down our throats an early scene where we have to deal with his parents getting shot in the freaking alleyway again?
Right.
And the answer is don't do that. Don't do that anymore. We got it. We know how it works. We don't need it. Like Spider-Man. What's great about the little the new dude? What's his name?
Yeah, Tom Holland.
Holland.
We never saw his Uncle Ben die. We heard about it.
No, they just jumped right in, and we didn't even need to see him get bitten by a freaking spider again. Just go. Just get in. Go. Run with it.
So have you haven't seen Joker yet?
I still haven't seen Joker. No.
Okay.
I need to, but I haven't yet.
Yeah. Movie opens with the Joker's parents dying in an alley outside a movie theater. In
Shut up.
City.
They do not. Shut up. Oh, man. That would piss me off if I ended up watching that. They still already, they retconned the hell out of that Michael Keaton one by having the Joker be the one that fired the gun. Who let that happen? Who?
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
It's like all of a sudden making Doc Ock the guy who kills Uncle Ben in the.
Yes. Like, how do you make that connection?
Everything doesn't need to be connected, right? We don't need to have, every bad thing that happens to somebody in their life be the cause of one evil dude.
Yeah, I find that to be really mind-bogglingly poor, lazy writing. And it is. It's bugged me even when I was younger and I was seeing that movie and going, "Oh, cool, an actual cool Batman movie," and it was cool in a lot of ways. But that one thing made me just go, "Really?"
Oh my god! And that's a reminder. That's right. Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church as Sandman is the guy who shot Ben.
Oh, they did it again.
I'd forgotten about that hot garbage. See,
they did it again.
Yes.
3 is three's not just bad for the emo dance; it's other things too.
3 is horrendous. I've forgotten about that whole thing.
Yeah.
3. We need to do Spider-Man 3 for Film Sack, by the way.
We do. I haven't seen it since we saw it in theaters in 2007.
Mm-hmm. That's part of a Nerdtacular.
Yeah, it was the first Nerdtacular that year.
Yeah, it's the only one. The only Nerdtacular I've never made it to. Thank you, Dice Tomato, for reminding me of that garbage.
Yeah, let me tell you didn't miss much. That movie. Well, you've seen it. It sucked. It was bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad film, and I think enough time has passed where I could watch it again. So
I think so.
Let's get it on the list. That'd be no problem. Oof. All right. Hey, speaking of pop culture stuff, I have to at least share this with you.
Share it with me.
All right. So this is pretty crazy.
Real quick, Spider-Man 3 is on Netflix.
Oh no way, dude.
I think we shoehorned this puppy in.
Yeah, because that's still not a Disney thing, so it's never going to be on Plus, right? Probably not.
Right. I'm moving Catwoman.
Okay, you move Catwoman. Hold on.
What do you think? Before I'm going to put it before Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
Where's
Stick it in there.
Wow. Okay. Oh wow, we've got a lot coming up. So we're doing Inception this week, then Dracula 3000, Patriot Games, Clash of the Titans, GoldenEye, The Evil Dead, The Ring, The Tuxedo.
Hold on. Who put Patriot Games in there? Take that out of there.
Who do you think?
I know who did. Delete that shit.
Replace it with Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, replace it. That's somebody trying to sneak in that's like somebody trying to sneak in expenditures on the monthly budget of the company and doesn't mention what they are.
Randy, what's your per diem?
Yeah, what are you doing? What's all these office supplies? Oh well, I
don't know. Patriot Games is we did that other Jack Ryan one with Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not that it's just Patriot Games is kind of boring. Like it's just an action movie from the 90s that's arguably doesn't hold up and is okay but not great. Like
The morning stream.
Shit. I don't know why that played.
Yeah, because I love you, Randy, but I don't ever remember discussing Patriot Games.
We haven't talked about Patriot Games. We absolutely have not talked about a Patriot Games. This is a joint group effort. We have to decide on these movies together. That's how it works. All right. Sneak it in there. Sneak it is what I meant to say.
I just snuck it in there. Bagheera says, Coverville, please do Mazes and Monsters. Dude, that was one of the first things I remember Tom Hanks in besides Bosom Buddies. And all I remember is him, he gets so involved in Dungeons and Dragons, or in this case, Mazes and Monsters, that he's on a payphone going, there's blood on my knife.
No. Wait, that thing was like a Dungeons and Dragons kind of ripoff.
It was a made-for-TV movie called Mazes and Monsters.
And is Mazes and Monsters an actual thing, or was that them avoiding the Dungeons and Dragons?
It was them avoiding TSR's lawsuits.
Got it.
It was way before Wizards of the Coast.
Okay, interesting. Oh, was it before? Yes. It was before they had was this
absolutely?
This was pre Dungeons and Dragons.
No, it was after Dungeons and Dragons, but it was
okay.
TSR before it was Wizards of the Coast.
Gotcha.
Wasn't it?
I don't know. We'd have to dig up the corpse of Gary Gygax and ask him. He'd go, well, let me tell you, the history there is pretty interesting.
1982, Mazes and Monsters came out.
That was my Gygax impression.
It's streaming on Amazon Prime.
See, no reason that shouldn't go in. I mean, I realize what we're doing right now is exactly what we're saying he can't do, but
at least there's two of us discussing it.
Yeah, there's a couple of us talking about
That's a really good point. Yeah, exactly.
There's two of us talking about it. That's enough for a cabal, right? And
all right, so let's see here. We keep Chud, we keep Legion, we keep Terminator 3. Did we talk about Wyatt Earp?
We talked about ridding the list of Wyatt Earp multiple times. Is it still on that list?
Still on the list.
No, we're
replacing it with Mazes and
Yeah, I already put a flag in the ground on that one. We're not watching that. There's, you know what? It's an okay Western, but it's a 4-hour slow Western that no one wants to see right now. It's not going to fit. It's not film sack. It's just not.
I saw I saw Wyatt Earp in the theaters. We had a special advanced preview screening because this was back when I was reviewing movies legitimately. Sort of reviewing movies legitimately.
Right.
Oh God, I should tell you that story. So there was so really quickly, there was a newsletter thing that was here in Denver called the 16th Street Walker.
Okay.
And it was for people like who walked up and down the 16th Street Mall and tourists and visitors and.
So wait, it's not the 16th Streetwalker.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
Just like the morning stream isn't based on pee.
Yeah.
The 16th Street Walker wasn't based on prostitution, but boy, it sure could have been.
Sure. I would have heard that name and said, "Oh, Streetwalker, got it."
So the guy the editor-in-chief asked me to do movie reviews for it. I'd known him through some freelance client. He knew we went and saw a lot of movies, so he asked if I would do movie reviews, and so he actually hooked me up with all these legitimate movie review or movie preview advanced screening agencies, the ones who talk to the studios and say, okay, we need a special preview screening of this movie or that movie so that the reviewers can review it and get the article in the paper before the day the movie comes out.
Right.
And so Wyatt Earp was one of them. I saw a very early advanced screening of that before they'd even finished some of the scenes, because there were big sections that said scene coming, scene coming here, or something like that, where they were going to be replacing with a better copy of the scene.
Right.
Medicine Man with Sean Connery came out.
You ever lose your car keys?
Exactly. You knew this was coming.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I was out of town and I couldn't see the preview. And it was the only movie coming out that week that would get into the 16th Street Walker.
Okay.
So I told the editor-in-chief, I can't remember the guy's name, told the editor-in-chief, I said, I'm not going to be able to see Medicine Man. He says, well, they sent you a description of the movie, right? They sent you the plot. Mm-hmm. Just write something. Mm-hmm. So I wrote a review for a movie.
Amazing.
That I never saw. I wrote and published a review of a movie that I never saw.
I want to read. Do you have that somewhere? Is that a thing?
I don't know if I do. That is so It is so old, and
I love that.
I mean, that
dude.
was like
I love it.
whenever that movie came out, right? I mean, Medicine Man.
That was 94 or 3, 4. Came out the same year as Tombstone, and Tombstone was a better Western about Wyatt Earp. That was my thinking at the time. And we've done Tombstone.
Well, Medicine Man wasn't about Wyatt Earp.
No. Medicine Man wasn't. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of Wyatt Earp.
Yeah, Wyatt Earp.
So
yeah.
Medicine Man would have been, I'm going to guess. Let me guess, and we'll see if I'm right.
Okay,
Medicine
yeah.
Man was 1996.
1992.
Crap. That surprises me. I thought it was later.
John McTiernan, director of Die Hard, has turned in a great, another terrific performance from.
Wow. You could kind of write itself, right? It's not too hard to.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they send you so much material and printed interviews with the actors about the role, and then you got all these glossy black and white photos to put in the paper. And
my memory of that movie is that he went to the South America somewhere in the jungle, maybe the Amazon, and he's digging around and he found like some poo and like fingered it, and it came up with like, oh look, it's the cure to cancer on my finger or something. And then he lost it because that was the whole car keys thing. And then Lorraine Bracco came down there to like see what's up. And man, I should do one of these animated, like, I think I remember it.
This would be a great one for this. For me, I get Medicine Man and Mosquito Coast confused, because if you would ask me, I said, oh yeah, like River Phoenix was Sean Connery's kid, and I totally conflate.
Yeah.
Conflate? Is that the right? Yeah, conflate those two movies.
Conflate's the right word. Sure. Well, yeah, no, and Medicine Man.
It's got the other Indiana Jones in it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, right. It's got the two
other
Joneses.
Dr. Jones.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's hilarious. That's a Ridley Scott movie, which always blows my mind. He made that Medicine. They're not Medicine Man.
That came out 1986.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Peter
Nice and
Weir.
old. Peter Weir.
Peter Weir.
Oh, yeah, I thought that was. Oh, I'm confused. Again, I'm conflating with something else. It's not him. It's not who I thought it was. Mosquito Coast was Peter Weir. Peter Weir makes good movies. He also made 4:30, Time for Milking.
Fargo.
Witness.
On book. Witness. Yes.
Witness, yeah. And then he did
Green Card.
Yep. And the one with the Master and Commander deal.
Oh yeah,
was really good.
Far Side of the Russell Crowe.
Yeah, he did the Robin Williams Stand on the Desk movie. Can't think of it.
The Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society.
Patch Adams Awakenings. Is that what that one's called? Good morning, Patch Adams Awakenings.
The Stand on the Desk movie.
Good morning, Patch Adams Awakenings.
Indeed. All right. What was I going to... Oh, this whole thing I was going to tell you about. All right.
Yeah, I know.
So these...
Sorry,
no. It's totally fine. These are all good topics. So I'm going to put in the chat, or not the chat, the Discord, a copy of a thing I'm going to read.
Okay.
I've been watching a lot of old cartoons from the 40s and 50s. Really getting into it for some reason. I'm just kind of like absorbing it. And I don't know why. Part of it is because it was such a huge part of my childhood, seeing these reruns on the weekends and stuff. And it informs so much about how I would draw, and even how I draw now, and my sense of humor. All of it kind of has its
all
roots.
That Tex Avery and
Chuck Jones, all those guys. They're
Chuck
amazing.
Jones, right?
Tex Avery and Chuck Jones were my freaking heroes at the time.
They would be two of the faces on your Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah, for sure. They might occupy the same rough space, like I put their heads kind of together there.
Tom Hardy.
I'm not putting Tom Hardy up there, but I might put George Miller up there. Yeah, put George Miller up there. Who else? Who else? Oh, Mort Drucker. You got to put Mort Drucker up there.
Oh, Mort Drucker from Mad Magazine,
yeah,
sure.
He's up there. It's got to be one more. Hold on.
It's only four faces.
What else would it be? How many are there? 5 faces total?
4 faces on Mount Rushmore.
Oh, that's all you get?
Yeah, that's all you get. That's all right. It's the day after President's Day.
Well, good thing that's not required to know. All right. So anyway, I'm watching a lot of these, and some of the compilations, like the official ones you get on, like, Prime or something, they have this thing that they run before the cartoons, and it says this. I'm going to read it to you. The cartoons you're about to see are products of their time. They may depict some of the ethnic and racial prejudices that were more commonplace in American society. These depictions were wrong then, and they are wrong today. While these cartoons do not represent today's society, they are being presented as they were originally created, because to do otherwise would be the same as claiming these prejudices never existed. Okay, now I like this a lot. But because basically what they're saying is
that word in the second to last sentence.
Yeah, and I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I like this for lots of reasons. Number one, I like that, dusting or brushing something under the rug just hides the thing that happened, and you just shouldn't do that.
This should allow people to finally see Song of the South instead of just thinking it's a ride at Disneyland.
I agree. Although Disney's always been slow to adopt this sort of stuff, but
yeah, sure.
But yeah, I like this. I like this in general. But at the end of this thing, like you said, second to last sentence or last sentence, I guess.
Second to last line, yeah.
It says. It doesn't actually say the same. It says because to do otherwise would be that same as claiming these prejudices never existed. So there's a typo in this thing from the to that, and that meant it went out on I don't know how many hundreds of thousands, possibly millions of DVDs. And now I had this thought. Now they can't change this. They have to have another statement that says
the disclaimer you're about to see is a product of poor quality assurance.
Yeah, poor typo management and editing. To remove it would be claiming this mistake never existed.
Exactly.
And if that line has a glitch in it, then they'll have to do it again.
Boy, the snake eating its own, like Inception cartoon style.
Yeah, I loved this though when I ran into it. I was a little annoyed at first. I'm like, this is a very important statement you're making.
Totally. And somebody didn't proofread it?
I know, especially that last sentence. That last sentence is everything. It's the most important part of this message.
It is.
I guess it's not. The whole thing's one sentence. Oh, no, there's two sentences, sorry. But the last piece of that last sentence should be the most important thing you focus on, and you get that and the mixed up? Mm-hmm. What the frick? What are you doing? All right.
It's like Frontier sending out an email that says Precedence Day instead of President's Day.
Yeah, another good one. Do you trust them to fly your plane straight and not slam it into the side of a building?
I don't even trust them as a credit card company masquerading as an airline.
There you go. Well, I know no other way to celebrate this weirdness than to eat a fava nut, whatever that is.
Sure.
So, Brian,
nuts about fava nuts.
I'm going to play this.
I like to eat.
We're going to eat a thing. This is from...
Did you finish all your jerky from yesterday, by the way?
I did. I loved it. It was so good. I had
It's
to.
good, but I still have half a bag left.
Yeah, I ate it all. I can't. I've no control when it comes to beef products.
The following fava nuts you're about to consume are brought to you by Riker.
Interruption. These are Antonio's fava nuts. Ingredients are favas, salt, and oil. I don't know what a fava is. Never heard of it.
Well, fava beans. I'm guessing these are just dried. Basically, they're probably fava beans that have been salted and oiled and dried so that they're healthier for you than nuts.
Okay. No, that's
they're like
cool.
to simulate eating nuts.
All right, so these are legumes and not nuts.
Yeah.
And sorry, you were giving credit to our benefactor.
Oh, Mike Savaria from Westport, Mass. Big thanks again for sending this out to us.
I can't believe I've never had a fava nut.
I know.
I also can't believe how hard this is to open.
I'd use scissors. I'm also impressed that Christopher Guest didn't list this as one of the kinds of nuts in Best in Show.
Yeah, what was that about?
He even went so far as to describe the two different kinds of pistachio nuts.
By the way, that reminds me, because Will Sasso's in that movie just briefly at the beginning. If you want to read just like the sweetest tribute to one's father who just passed away, go read Will Sasso's recent Instagram about his dad passing away. And that guy never says anything seriously, but in this one case he did. And man, that was the nicest tribute to his dad. It was just the sweetest thing. Yeah. You guys should go read it. All right. I'm going to try a fava nut now. Here goes. Putting it in. They have the consistency of dried bananas.
Mm-hmm. But not the sweetness.
No. Well, and on the back...
Actually, it's not bad.
Yeah, on the back end, they get real... I don't know what to compare this to. It's not like a nut.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It is like a... God, there's something very specific that when you eat it...
Yeah.
It has this kind of finish to it, like a baked Lay's or something like that. No, what is that? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the aftertaste.
Yeah, it's a little bitter on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they used to say to me when I would wrestle people in high school.
If you got into that that difficult position,
Yep.
ooh, Scott's a little bitter on the back
Yeah,
end.
a little bitter on the back end. Got to watch out for him. They're all right. I think they get a little weird on the end though. It's an odd taste.
It also looks like they haven't updated any of their packaging since 1963, or this package is from 1963.
Well, this package, mine says it's more of an embroidery, or like what's the word I'm looking for? What do you call it when you have a thing on a photo? It's called what's that called? Watermark. It's like a watermark.
Oh, really?
And it says Best by 9/16/20.
Oh, yes, right. Like I have the same thing.
And I wish
like
it was
printed, like embossed in the plastic.
Embossed is the word I was looking for.
Yes.
I couldn't think of the damn word.
Embossed in a lovely satin finish.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah, but that packaging does look like somebody's set in their ways. Let's put it that way.
Yes, exactly. We've never changed our packaging, and we're not gonna do it today.
Never will. All right, time for this.
Hi! Breaking news!
Oh, sorry, you were saying something.
No, that's all right. I was just gonna make another joke, and
Well, look, there's always room.
it was bitter on the back end.
Oh, always room for more jokes. Hey,
thought about the joke and I decided it was bitter on the back end.
Fair enough. Hey, look, you guys, check it out. It's the news. It's fully in view here, and it's brought to you by.
Hey, Frog Pants crew / Tadpool / family. A good friend of mine has just launched his short film online. He's won a few awards for it back home here in Australia, and I'd love to help him get some worldwide attention. The Snip gets to the meat and potatoes of family pressure to have kids and one man's unique solution to overcome the problem once and for all. Gosh, wonder how he does it with a title called The Snip.
The Snip. Yeah.
Starring a renowned cast of Australian actors, including Drew Livingston, Sophie Bloom, Aaron Jeffrey, and Wendy Strelo. This film promises laughs for breeders and non-breeders alike. Go to benmizzy.com. That's benmizzi.com/the-snip to check out this short Australian comedy.
Yeah, I bet he just gets a vasectomy there in this story. Right?
Spoiler.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, everybody. I don't want to shock you or anything. Also, all those names you said they sounded Australian as hell when you did that accent.
Absolutely, they did. Yes, Sophie Bloom. There was no Bruce, though.
Nope.
Bruce Livingston,
Yep.
Bruce Bloom, Bruce Jeffrey, and Bruce Strelo.
I feel like the Bruce myth.
And Sheila Strelo.
Yeah, there's no Sheilas or Bruces. I feel like it's a myth. I feel like we've been told something that isn't true
That's right, exactly.
about Australian society.
Hello, Bruce.
Well, speaking of films, an adult film shot at the Santa Monica Public Library during business hours.
Oh, fantastic.
Sparked an outrage. That's a shock. This is a porn stunt,
How
apparently.
are you going to pay for these overdue books? I don't have any money.
Yeah, I know. Ma'am, your fine is like $4. I don't have my wallet with me.
Well, I can't let you leave here without somehow paying for these books.
Yeah.
Paying the fine.
How do you want to pay for these?
Do you have one of those rooms that people can rent by the hour here for conferences?
You know, here at the library.
And does it have blinds? And a comfortable table?
It's already it's a better story than whatever they were actually shooting for, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it says here, the stunt, apparently done to get clicks, is provoking outrage after news surfaced that an adult film is being shot inside the local library. Video is more than 10 minutes long and was shot on Santa Monica city streets and then inside the public library.
10 minutes?
I
Who
know.
is this Superman?
Yeah, no kidding. The video shows a woman exposing herself outside Santa Monica streets and even outside John Muir Elementary, then carrying out sex acts inside the library. Not carrying a sex axe.
Sex acts.
Yeah, carrying out sex acts. Quote, God forbid a child walk into the library and walk right into the middle of it. That's my biggest concern, says Janet McLaughlin. Of course, her name is Janet. Children don't need to be exposed to this. If you want to do porn, stick to the hotels, she says. That sounds like a thing she just assumes happens and isn't actually true.
That's right. If you want to do porn, stick to the hotels.
Stick to the hotels and the streets and the rivers and the lakes.
How could she live that close to the San Fernando Valley and think that it's all done in hotels?
Right. I don't know if I buy her stance. I think she may be full of it. It says here, she was so disgusted after another concerned parent sent her a link of the movie that she took to social media to get the city's attention.
So this thing actually even got released.
Oh, yeah.
Before. Wow.
So it happened. So that's the thing. They didn't catch him doing it. It got released, and then everybody's like, wait a minute, that's our library. And then they freaked out. Which I think is funny because you'd have to watch it to know your library's in it.
Yeah. Somebody sent her a link. So whoever started this chain says, all right, well, that's definitely the Santa Monica Public Library. I could keep this information to myself, or I could divulge the fact that I watch porn that's filmed at the Santa Monica Public Library.
Yep. Instead, she went straight to outrage, so it made it sound like it's just too urgent. You can't stop and think about how she saw it. You have to just get right to the outrage.
Although, yeah, sent me a link. That is a good excuse. Oh, hey, hon, no, I wasn't watching porn. Somebody just sent me a link and I was checking it out.
I just got this email and there was a link there.
I clicked it and it took me a few minutes to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
But the Dewey Decimal System has never been so Dewey. The Dewey Decimal System. Wow. There we go. Sheila McIntyre stars in the Dewey Decimal System, filmed on location at the Santa Monica Public Library.
Why are they Australian again, though?
I don't know. Just go with it.
All right, we're going with it.
Because her name is Sheila.
The clip, the woman in the video walks into the library, apparently during business hours, and shoots the video while talking about not getting caught. McLaughlin said, city leaders are now aware. Quote, they say it is a misdemeanor unless they witness it themselves. There is nothing they can do about it, she says. The video was uploaded to a porn site that pays per click. I didn't know that was a thing. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Amateur porn. Now how many tadpoolers just gave them money by Googling it?
Well, I hope none of you
Well, I
did.
want to see this taking place during normal business hours at the Santa Monica Public Library.
Yeah, I hope none of you went out and did that.
Yes.
Or maybe I hope one of you did. All right. Hey, look at this here news. Oh, we were just talking about him, Robert Pattinson. He's famous for the going to be the Batman and
Twilight movies.
Yeah, all that stuff.
He was in The Lighthouse, which by all accounts is a really, really good movie.
Yeah. Still looks like a foot in your opinion, you think?
Still looks like a foot in Nora Peralta's opinion. That wasn't me originally.
Oh,
but
I
echo her concern.
Right. And that was
Robert Pattinson has a face like a foot.
And she was saying that back in the Twilight days, I think, is when we were hearing that.
Back in the Twilight days.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Robert Pattinson says he smells like a crayon. I love this story.
I just love that headline.
It's a really great headline. And unfortunately, the headline is about the best part of it because the rest of it is kind of weird. But anyway, it says in an interview with Allure magazine on Saturday, the 33-year-old Twilight alumni and star of the upcoming film The Batman describes the colorful way he smells. Quote, lots of people tell me I smell like a crayon, he says. When he was asked, like you're made of wax? He says, yes, he replied, like I'm embalmed.
The bad news is it's burnt umber.
Yeah, it's always burnt umber, isn't it? It's the worst color.
Or burnt sienna.
It may as well be a poop. Pattinson was recently described as the most handsome man in the world, according to Science.
Oh, right.
What? Did I miss that?
Yeah, he's got like a perfectly symmetrical face. It's like how Elizabeth Hurley in the 90s, they figured out that she's got the perfect, that 60-30-10 perfect proportions to the face.
Right. I have heard of that, but I didn't know he was one of them, or he had been pointed out as somebody who has the perfect symmetry in his face. That's interesting. And is it a perfectly symmetrical foot then? We should ask Nora.
It's a perfectly symmetrical foot. Yeah, he may not have a great face, but his face is a perfectly symmetrical foot.
Yep. Don't let Tarantino know or we're in big trouble. Yeah, that one guy that emails me and gets mad every time I bring up Tarantino's foot fetish. There's another one for you. Enjoy. All right. It says here, Pattinson was recently... Okay, it says... he was also asked in this interview, what is it like to be superlatively hot? He says, it's weird, he said. I was never really up for the good-looking guy roles because I've always been quite awkward when meeting people. My Harry Potter role was about a good-looking guy, and it was a shock that it was quite easy to get. And then in Twilight, Edward is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. When I turned up for the audition, I had done a job where I dyed my hair black and had 1.5 inches of black roots. And I had waxed my body. Oh, there's the crayon. There's the crayon. You waxed your body. And then I had a few months where I'd been drinking beer all day, so I had this hairless, chubby body. I'd look like a baby with a wig on. After I did Twilight, my friend said, "Oh, you're posing all of the time." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? I'm just standing. I'm just standing like I ever did." It says, and none of you thought I was good looking 2 years ago. So he sounds like a guy who's like, he's getting it together. He's got a good perspective on what his career is and who he's perceived as, and it's fine. It's fine.
So it's called the golden ratio.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting. I'm going to give you a link to look at this.
Okay. All right.
And they actually take a woman's face. And apply the golden ratio to it, like the Marquardt beauty mask, and turn it into fitting those proportions. It's really interesting.
Okay, I'm looking here.
Yeah, scroll down till you see the 3 photos of the blonde woman next to each other. Although that video that looks like they're using 1988 era Mac Paint to figure out.
Yeah. Oh, I see the polygonal structure thing they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so this woman is the original.
They turn her into Charlie 27 from the original Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, here, I'm sorry. I'll put this in the chat room too.
Yeah,
goldennumber.net/beauty if you at home. If you at home want to play along.
Yeah, you guys should go check it out. I'm showing it on screen. Plus, now there's a link so you guys can see it. But this lady here, this original. And then the freaking Tron treatment. And then now she's symmetrical. It's interesting they didn't make the hair symmetrical, but I guess that makes sense. You wouldn't do that.
Well, yeah.
But I feel like symmetry makes us look weird. Like it makes us...
Yeah, I mean, we're not supposed to be exactly symmetrical. Because if you've ever taken a mirror and put it up halfway on your face and looked at what your face would look like if both sides were exactly the same, it looks really weird. It doesn't look like you.
Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't, does it? Hold on.
What we need to do is just take a Photoshop and flip it or something. But
we'll see how we look. Yeah. I just got a private DM from Twitter. A guy saying, "You guys don't know what you're talking about. It's only called Scoob." What's he talking about?
The Scooby-Doo movie that I was talking about in the trailers at the beginning. Yes, the movie is called Scoob.
Oh, it's really just called Scoob?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Really? That warranted
you'd go out of your way, max 30. I'm not going to say his full thing. You'd go out of your way to tell us that it's Scoob. It's not that big a deal, is it? Is it a big deal?
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Whatever, it's fine.
It's fine. We'll take what we can get. Hey, China's literally washing their money to stop the spread of the coronavirus. So don't worry about it.
Yeah.
If you get any dong or whatever, isn't it dong? What's their money?
Yes. No, it is.
Okay, you get the Chinese. If you're touching Chinese dong, you're not going to get the virus.
It just gets worse and worse.
It's fun. It's fun to say. It's just fun to say. It
is. Yes, exactly.
Anyway, as the Chinese government continues its effort to slow the spread of the deadly coronavirus, the country's central bank at the press conference yesterday, the 15th, when was that? A few days ago, told the media it was going to begin literally cleaning its currency. It's an extreme move that makes sense, whether it's dollars, pounds, euros, shekels, or in this case, yuan. Oh, I thought it was dong. Oh, dong is Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam. Okay, right.
Yeah, Vietnam dong. Vietnamese dong. Anyway, it says here the currency is notoriously dirty money. 2017 study of their bills. 2017 study of $1 bills in New York found some 397 bacterial species living on the surface of the money. And when someone with the flu handles it, that virus has been shown to survive up to 12 days on a dollar. I don't do cash anymore. That's why I haven't gotten sick this year. I don't do cash.
You don't cash. I know. We shouldn't be doing cash anymore. Cash is dirty, diseased garbage, and
it's been in
especially paper money.
Yeah.
It's got cocaine and viruses, E. coli on it.
Yeah, and G-string juice and stuff on there. Right? Because you go to the stripper club there and you tuck it in. Right? You don't.
The G-string juice. Oh my God. The phrase. How many G-strings do you have to wring out to get one glass of juice? Oh my God. Wow.
It's grosser than I meant it.
It's like we made a porn here during business hours.
Yeah, in the Frog Pants Public Library here. Well, anyway, so they're going to do this. Let's see. It says under normal circumstances, governments around the world spend about $10 billion a year to replace currency that is in bad condition. But when something as severe as coronavirus is spreading, the nation may opt to take more drastic measures. One method is cleaning the money to use ultraviolet light or high temperatures on it, and then seal the cash away for 2 weeks before releasing it back into circulation. When possible, the Chinese bank said it would provide brand new banknotes to people. Here's the problem, though. If the money's already out there, it's not like people can walk in and go, here's my money, clean it. Like, it doesn't work that way. It's all just the stuff they have control over. So how's this going to help?
Can you get your money laundered somewhere?
Yeah. Is there a money laundering service that I could use?
I'd like to get my money laundered, please. Get the coronavirus off of it. Thanks.
Arrest that man, is what they'd say. All right. Final story for today. Oh. Florida snake orgy forces officials to close area of a park. This is rough.
Was this during business hours?
This was totally during business hours, as you might expect.
Yes.
There's a lot of.
You muted me, or I muted you. You somehow got muted.
Oh, are you muted? No, I can hear you.
I'm back now, but.
Oh, did you not hear me for a second?
I didn't hear you. I don't know if you heard me.
No, I totally heard you. Yeah, I heard you the whole time. That was weird.
You disappeared.
I'm back now. There's a snake orgy happening in Florida. Officials in Lakeland say there's a number of the reptiles have gathered this week to make love near Lake Hollingsworth. That's my mother-in-law's maiden name is Hollingsworth.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I worked with a Lori Hollingsworth.
Oh,
she
very nice.
got married. She got married and has a new name that I won't give out on the show, but she was a wonderful person. She was a programmer, developer. She was great.
Was she from the South by chance? Very
She
southern.
was from the South. She was from Louisiana, maybe.
Okay. I mean, my mother-in-law grew up in Slidell, Louisiana. Right? Well, when she was young, she was in Slidell, so she was in Louisiana.
Oh my God, it'd be interesting to see if there's.
They're probably related.
If there's a relation.
Yeah. Kim's got some of her blood in her.
Her blood. Her Hollingsworth blood.
Says here they are non-venomous and generally not aggressive. People don't bug them, but once the mating is over, they go their separate ways. The snake's been identified as Florida's water snake, and they are generally found resting in trees, climbing on water, or basking in shorelines. They put up some caution tapes and done some other stuff. They're trying to protect the snakes. But
the snakes started humping the caution tape.
Yeah, you got to watch out. Oh, hello, my
Ooh, skinny yellow girl. All right.
You are a beautiful young lady, dude.
Hazard print on there. Do not enter.
Because, penetration and sex and everything.
Exactly. See, yes.
So be careful in Florida. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Bill Duran will be here talking about making stuff. We'll see what's going on with him. Jury here a little bit after that. He's back in Oakland, has a lot to say. He's heading to the Nevada caucus stuff this weekend, I guess, Thursday.
Caucuses, that's right. Yep. Yeah, not primaries, caucuses.
Yeah, they're doing the caucus.
Caucus.
And I got a very interesting question for him. Also, apparently Salt Lake City loves Mayor Pete, and I want to talk to him about that because that sounds nuts to me. But anyway, we'll find out about all that in a minute. Before that, though, a song from Brian Ibbett and his selection of quality tunes.
Sure. Well, speaking of Jury's home, the Bay Area, instrumental band Unconditional Arms have a brand new song called You're Just As Desperate. It's off of their brand new album, which will be coming out April 3rd via Zelda Heart Records. It's called Formation. This is really cool. It's got, I don't know, maybe a Cure vibe to it. It's probably you remember that Cure album that was a lot of remixes and instrumental versions, and not Disintegration, but it was right around that time.
Yeah, I do remember. I don't remember the name of it, but I do remember that. I like that.
Was really good. Anyway, this is great. You're going to love it. The song is called You're Just As Desperate. The group is called Unconditional Arms. They're from Oakland, just like Jury, so they're good. Here's Unconditional Arms, and You're Just As Desperate.
Now, this particular machine We'll give you a choice of 8 different main courses and 3 puddings.
Now hear this. There's been a slight change in our plan.
The morning stream, where man is made whole.
All right, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. We are where man is made whole. That's true.
This is true. Yeah.
Remember when you were 2 people and then we made you 1?
I was made partial and then filled in the rest of it with drywall mud.
Yeah, that was a good time. I enjoyed that.
A very good time.
That era of the show. We're going to call our good buddy Bill and talk about cool stuff. So here you go. Play this.
Your bat cave's open there, Bill.
Hey, everybody. Check it out. It's Bill Duran all the way from Seattle, Washington, on the show once again. Hello, Bill.
Good morning.
Nice to have you here. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Oh, that's great.
Had a lovely morning.
Yeah.
Aww.
Just getting ready to go do some work.
Oh, that's good. Cool. Work is good. Have us be the beginning of your Tuesday, and may it be productive and wonderful by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. Tuesdays, we have Bill on. He's the purveyor of all things Punished Props. He makes really rad stuff, often in the nerdy vein of things. He's also writing a book right now. All kinds of cool stuff. And Tuesdays when we get to talk about it to help inspire you to be better creators yourselves. So, Bill, what do we got going on today?
I have tool envy, serious tool envy.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if there is
every
probably...
time I go to a public restroom. Me too.
Yep, tool envy.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like tools, specifically power tools that help me do my work better, quicker, more efficiently. And I can't help myself but crave after the newest, hottest, coolest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if there's a podcaster equivalent. But let me give you a good example. All right. My buddy David is a woodworker. He's got a channel called Make Something.
Mm-hmm.
Really awesome guy. And he got a new drill press. Okay. The drill press has been around for a couple hundred years. It's a very common tool.
Mm-hmm.
But his drill press is a new fancy drill press. It's the drill press of the future.
Oh,
wow.
I already want this drill press. It sounds amazing.
No pulleys. It's a direct drive, so the motor is attached directly to the spindle. It's got a variable speed control. It's got auto start, auto stop. It has an auto depth stop and auto reverse. It's ridiculous. And I want it.
Yeah. You know where this happens? There is a podcaster equivalent to this. Once in a while, Brian and I and people like us will get wind of like a mixer or like some crazy mic. Like that happens all the time. But for me, it's actually
Stream Deck.
Right, yes. Yeah, Stream Decks. I spend way too much money on this crap. But here's the thing. Lately for me, it's been on the game side and it's been a bunch of controller fetishizing. And I've been so into like weird custom-made retro controllers that are like well-made and stuff like that. So I bought like this. Here's one right here for my SNES Mini. 8bitdo.com has these controllers that are basically SNES controllers.
Retro,
but it's wireless, so I can just plug a little dongle into the front of that Classic and it just connects to it and works. And they're really well made. Like this is like a nicely made controller. I also bought this new. I got the black version, but I bought the 8bitdo.
Look at that with a little handle. See, that's what the Super Nintendo controller needed was little grippy.
Yeah,
wings.
So this is pretty grippy, and it works with everything. Like I'm using this on my PC, my Mac, my phones, my whatever. It's just a nice Bluetooth.
Probably with Apple Arcade.
Yep, USB-C. Cool. So I keep getting suckered into this.
And
if you go to 8bitdo.com, you'll get down the worst rabbit hole, and you want to walk out of there with every damn thing they make. So don't do it. But yes, I guess as an example, that's another way of getting
pretty good.
Too into it.
Now you own video game controllers already.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I own a drill press.
I own a very nice drill press.
Sure.
Like I had an old drill press I bought at Harbor Freight that sucked and it was tiny. And when I could afford it, I bought a used but very nice, like floor standing drill press. It does everything I needed to do, but I desperately want this other one.
Nice.
Now the new one, there are features that are genuine improvements, right? It is It is more efficient with my time. It's more accurate with the work it does. But most importantly, if I were to buy that drill press, I could brag about it on the internet. I think that's probably the best feature that most crazy power tools have, is that bragging factor. So I had a similar example when I was way into photography with camera lenses.
Yeah.
I spent so much on camera lenses. And at the time I worked at Microsoft, and we had a club, an email list where people would share their photography stuff. And many people there were very well off Microsoft employees, and they had the coolest, craziest, awesome lenses that cost tens of thousands of dollars, and I wanted them so bad. The thing is, I could still take really great photos with my cheap camera and cheap lens, but there's something about the allure of the new.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, dude. Yeah. I'm with you. Like, that's the problem. This is that website Brian and I were talking about yesterday. What was it called, Brian? Mischief or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
They make all these products. Nobody needs anything they make, but you want all of it.
I want Jesus shoes, and I want the dog collar that makes my dog drop F-bombs when he barks.
Right, because I mean, in those cases, they're kind of stupid and they're non-productive, but you still want them. In your case, you could do some real work with a new drill press.
Yeah, it's like Archie McPhee. You walk into one of those Archie McPhee stores, and I think they've even got one in Seattle. I think that might be the home.
We absolutely do, yes.
Yes, and there is nothing in that store you ever could possibly need.
No.
But you walk in there and you walk out of there $100 lighter in a bag full of weird plastic crap.
Yeah.
Well, another good example too. The other day I was on Craigslist looking up used belt sanders, and I already own 3 belt sanders. Like, that's where I'm at right now.
Wow.
Here's my main problem though. I have a lot of tools. I have a lot of tools that are useful and that I use every day. But now I'm at the point where I'm just replacing the ones I have with much more expensive versions. So at least I've slowed down a little bit. The belt grinders I want regularly cost around $1,300. So the $120 Ryobi belt sander I have will last me a little while longer, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at a video of right now of by the way, there is no shortage of YouTube videos of people using drill presses. What's that about?
No kidding.
What's going on with that? Why is that such a hot thing?
Just don't look for it. Don't search for drill press accidents.
Yeah.
No. Oh god.
Drill press oops.
Yeah. I don't want that. I mean, this is funny. Sorry, I got to bring this up. My wife and I have a bunch of baseboards we need to put in, and we've needed to do it since last summer when we finished the flooring, and we just haven't gotten to the baseboards. And the reason we haven't gotten to the baseboards is because we suck at these things, and to get them done, it was like, well, we'll have Kim's brother-in-law Steve or her brother Richard, who are both very skilled woodworkers. They know the tools, they know what to do. They'll bring one of their saws over here and they'll get it done, and it'll be done in like not even half a day. It'd take us a few hours. But we keep putting it off because they're all busy. They got their own projects and they're not doing it. So the other day I said, well, hon, why don't we just go to Home Depot and we'll rent a freaking thing, whatever. I mean, this right now is telling you already why this is a problem. I don't even know what to call it. Well, let's go rent a thing. We'll ask like the hairy guy in the one aisle, what we need, and he'll say, "Oh, well, let me tell you." And he'll take me over there with his little red bib and everything and show us what to do. And then I'll bring it home, and then I'll cut them. I'll figure it out. We'll do it together. And she looked at me and said, "You're gonna cut off fingers. You don't know what you're doing with this, and neither do I. Why would we do this?" And I'm like, "Well, we got to learn. It's time to learn." She goes, "And I don't want to buy new baseboards when you ruin the ones we have." So she talked me down from that, and I guess we're not going to do it. We're going to have to wait until spring. But anyway, fun little story.
It's an old DIY joke where it's like, well, I could go out and buy this thing for $40, or I could spend an entire weekend making it myself for $200.
Right. I mean, that's the hard part, and because I'm not as experienced in this stuff, I don't have the calculus. Like, I don't know how to make the case for why it's better to not do it yourself, or what money will we actually save. And it's also extra painful because my dad was really great at this stuff. He had multiple saws and drills. He was very good at all that stuff. Never hurt himself, never cut himself, knew all the safety stuff, built everything we ever needed to do, fixed all the stuff we needed to do. I am the polar opposite of that. I'm useless in this scenario. So when the zombies come, we're going to Bill's house, we're going to Mark Spagnolo's house, Steve and Richard's house. Like, go to the homes of the people who know how to build shit, or else you're all dead. Okay, that's the lesson here.
There you go.
All right, Bill. Sorry. Back to life. Back to reality. Wherever we were before.
That's it. There's no lesson this week. I just desire tools. That's really it.
Yeah,
it's just commiserating.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I did have my eye, by the way. After working on this foam head thing, for one hot minute, I was on Amazon looking at tabletop. What's the kind of saw that just has a thin blade that goes up and down as opposed to like a circular saw, or I guess it's just a table saw?
A table saw or a scroll saw, probably.
Scroll saw, yeah. Like you get a little $80 tabletop scroll saw that'd be perfect for cutting through foam and stuff like that. But
yeah.
But it's like, wait, I'm doing this just so I can make this foam head. Am I going to make other foam things? Yeah, I probably will. But why don't I wait until I make a few things using the old X-Acto knife before I spend $80 on another tool to put in the garage?
There you go.
It sounds like a cool tool. Well, all right, Bill. We've learned about envy today. We've learned about some other stuff. You usually have a little bonus link for us. Do you have a little something today?
I do. It's one of my videos, but it is a bunch of projects from our viewers. So if you look up the 500K Mando helmet video,
I love that Egyptian styled Mando helmet. That thing is so amazing.
There's a lot of cool ones. So we put up a short video on our channel. I am still working on the book, so I don't have a build video this month, but I do have an update showing off one of the example projects from the book, which is very exciting. And we did the Mandalorian helmet project with our fans back in November, and they all made a bunch of helmets, and they sent us video of those helmets. So the rest of this video is showing off 10-second clips of all the different helmets our fans made, which is
great,
really, really cool. I'm so happy so many people played along and participated. That's really all I ask. I just want people to try this stuff out.
Yeah, they look great. They look great, too. Lots of good ones.
Lots of creativity and customization, too. People really went nuts with it, and I love it.
Especially, I noticed people kind of went different directions with the antenna bit. Because that's obviously the show even does that, or not the show, but the use of that thing in different Mandalorian helmets from Boba Fett and otherwise, they're different and weird. Oh, look, and someone made like a Cylon light in theirs. Cool.
Oh,
nice.
That's cool.
That's cool. Nice. And he's got boom boxes behind him. He looks like some kind of 80s robot. It's fantastic.
So I was we ended up somehow, I think after the regular television news, America's Got Talent popped up, and before we had a chance to turn it off and watch something else, we saw Kiss was on there, and they were dressed in their full, and it was Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons, may have been Peter Criss, may have been Ace Frehley, but who knows with those two. But I noticed that they're they still have the big old costumes and boots and stuff like that. I'm thinking, oh, I bet all that stuff is foam, because it's got to be, obviously it has to be super light, super flexible, so they can walk around on stage. And I was thinking, I wonder how you'd go about making some of those, like the shoulders that Gene Simmons wears and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, that might be a good foam project sometime.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, someone made those.
Yeah, somehow.
Where's that video? Where's that behind the scenes video? Come on, internet. Exactly. I want to see
Captain Kipper says it's not foam. I think it is foam, Captain Kipper.
It's probably
maybe not originally. Foam. Yeah, but now it's probably
foam. It may not be EVA. It might be like L200 or some other variant of foam. It's probably foam.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, that might be my dream project that I'll never do.
Also, fries are done. Did I hear a ding? Who was that?
That's right, they are. It's probably time for you to go get some breakfast.
Yeah, go get some breakfast. That'll be good. That'll help your working day. Bill Duran, everybody. PunishProps.com. You can also find him at Chinbeard on Twitter. Bill, have a great week. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
It's so funny. It was a great segment with Bill, yet there was really nothing. He didn't
learn anything. We just commiserated about how we like to spend money on our hobbies.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to commiserate and say, yeah, we have a problem. And,
I agree. I agree 100%.
We're all here I'm Brian Ibbett, and I buy too much podcasting crap.
Exactly. All right, now this.
These are their stories.
Oh, I'm terrible with names.
It's Justin Robert Young, all the way from Oaktown, California, who is with us once again today before his big trip to Nevada for the caucuses over there to talk about the world of politics in a much more reasonable fashion than you're used to in your public media consumption.
Wow.
Welcome to the show, Justin. How are you?
Hi, friends. How are you?
Fantastic. Doing great.
Ooh.
Are you doing great? That's the important question, because you're about to embark on additional work, and it's a lot of work. So how are you feeling?
Embarking on additional work is a funny way to put it. No, I'm headed to Nevada for the caucus. So,
yeah.
I'll be there in Vegas, and then South Carolina after that, then back to California for Super Tuesday, and then off to Florida after that. So
Wow.
following this here primary trail because the people on the Patreon demanded it.
It's like you're back in the Go Game days with the travel schedule.
Right, all the travel. Yeah.
It's a lot. But
unrelated, but are you going to be in Vegas with us for the TMS Vegas thing at the end of March? Or is that tie-in? Is there a primary or a caucus going on?
Oh,
that
that'd
weekend?
be
Totally honest, I think that it's free, but I would be lying if I told you that I've thought that far ahead in life.
What? Maybe if the Patreon people paid for you to go to Vegas, you'd go.
No, I like. This is how I do things. I can't think that far ahead. I barely
I
can.
don't think about things until 2 weeks beforehand.
Yeah, that's just,
Yeah, I mean, to give you context, I have not booked my flight to Florida, which would come before Vegas. So,
Makes sense.
eventually I'll figure it out.
Well,
But
and also the fates.
likely, I mean, like as long as there's not something that weekend, it is likely.
Well, the fates are often good to you. You end up with seats that are better than what you thought you were going to get, and
Or
stuff
hotel
like that.
rooms with fireplaces.
Right. So
It end up with a fire. Yes, a room with a fireplace. Although I am
awesome.
annoyed with Bill that his segment devolved into just talking about nonsense, because that really is my gimmick. So back off.
You've got that locked down. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's funny.
back off, foam worker.
Yeah, if the foam worker really brought it today. Just nothing.
I know. Yeah, come on. Like this is my corner.
He learned from you. He learned it from you, Dad. He learned it from you. All right, we're gonna dive right in now. I got a couple of questions or a couple of things I want to get off the table real quick. I want to talk about that Mayor Pete in Salt Lake City thing, because I think that's interesting. But we'll get to that in a second. I found out through my son Nicholas, who, by the way, I didn't say this yet. He found an apartment this week. He's moving out on Sunday. So him and his sister, within a month of each other, found great places to live. They are downtown where they want to be. They're stoked. Right, it's closer to Nick's work, and in Carter's case, right next to the university where she's going and where she works. They're all loving this, and they got great prices, and I can't believe the places they got. It's great. So I'm super stoked for them, but also we're feeling a little sad. I
hear a lot less sadness coming from Scott about Nick.
No.
Than I heard about Carter.
No, here's what I'll say. I was sadder about Carter because Carter and I are, we're collaborators as well as familial family. But also, in the case of Nick, I'm excited for him more than I am sad, because I really did feel like he was feeling like he was in a bit of a rut. Like he just wanted to spread his wings and couldn't, because the opportunities weren't coming his way, or there wasn't a great rent deal that popped for him. It's not getting any cheaper for these Gen Zs to move out on their own. And so this just makes me happy, because he's going to be happy. He's going to be stoked.
He'll be back.
He'll be. I see where Brian's going with this. I see where he's going. He's going.
I don't know. When I moved out, the only time that I ever moved back in with my mom was when technically I had to I was taking a job in Florida, but I still had about 6 months on my apartment in New York. So technically I was still paying rent, but it was for an apartment I wasn't living in.
You were in. Oh, geez.
Because you had a contractor or whatever, right? Or at least.
Well, I had roommates and everything, so it was kind of like I didn't want to leave them out in the lurch, and so it was one of those like, all right, I move out and I'll still pay, but if you guys find somebody else, then obviously they can take my space, and in the meantime, enjoy your office that I'm paying for.
Sure. Yeah. Well, anyway, the point of it is, so during
you're turning into a real empty nester here pretty soon.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. I mean, what does that mean? Walking around naked? I don't know what it means. We haven't.
Yeah, naked cartwheels, baby.
Is that what it is? Well, cartwheels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in this particular case, Kim's gonna struggle with it a lot, because she just loves being around Nick, and I do too. But at the same time, his idea of getting out and going for it is good. It's great. It's a very healthy thing, and I'm stoked for him. So it's all good in the hood in that regard. But we had this conversation about politics last night, and he says to me, I said, well, Nick, you're voting age, so how's all this panning out for you? Not trying to, control the conversation or give him any idea. I just want to hear what he thinks based on what he's seeing. And he says, right now, me and my friends, we all like Mike Bloomberg. And I went, oh, hold on a minute. Really? And he says, yeah, I like Bloomberg. And I said, why? And he goes, I think he's the only one that can beat Trump. Those were his words.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was interesting that him and a handful of other kids all are convinced that that's the only path forward, is the only way to do it. And we didn't talk much deeper than that. I just said, oh, well, that's interesting. I mean, he's got the budget, I guess, for pushing as far and as long as he wants, and blah blah blah.
Have you noticed that Mike Bloomberg, like if you see a side profile, he kind of looks like Mr. Burns. Like he's got the rounded down pointing nose and the upper lip that hangs over the lower lip.
No, I haven't noticed that. I'll point that out to him in the future.
Yeah, that might change his mind. But sorry, go ahead, Jerry. You're gonna your response.
And before you do, my whole take in this household has been from day one of April or of November 8th, 2016, has been I'll take a frozen yogurt over Donald Trump. So it doesn't matter to me in this ticket. Everybody who's in it, they're all up. I'm up for all of them. Whoever gets the primary, I'm not going to be one of those guys going, oh man, if Bernie gets in there, then I'm going to change my mind. No, I'll take Bernie. I'll take Mayor Pete. I'll take Elizabeth Warren. I'll take Klobuchar, or however you say her name. I'll take any of these people.
Klobuchar.
I will take a floating turd. Or Brian, do the voice for the floating turds. Turds in that float. You did it the other night.
That's right. The shallow end of the pool is where the turds float.
I love that so much. Sorry, go watch Fargo season 3. But anyway, so anyway, your thoughts. What do you think about that? The kids. I mean, it's obviously a small sample group, so it's impossible to say anything definitive about this. But do you find that surprising that these young upstarts are like, hey, Mike Bloomberg, he's got the nuts to make it done? What do you think of that?
No. I mean, I think that the number one thing that all Democrats by polling care about more than guns, more than the environment, more than healthcare is beat Donald Trump, which is not unique in an election like this where you're facing an incumbent president that usually is up there. But I would say that in this particular case, what differs is exactly how you get there. With Bloomberg, it is... he projects authoritarian, and your mileage will vary on exactly how much there is muscle behind that idea. He is somebody that very much has a specific idea of top-down government that kind of gets granular into your life and with varying different results. Mm-hmm. But then again, Bernie has a very top-down governmental philosophy too. It's a difference of exactly what they want to do with it. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I think we have a very unique race, because in any other cycle, I think somebody like Mayor Pete probably would have gotten a lot more attention for running neck and neck with Bernie. I think that this would be looked at more as a two-horse race, but, nationally, Pete has not polled as well, and you still have candidates like Warren and Biden that have really eaten a bag of poop in the first two contests, that are still polling fairly well nationally and into double digits ahead of somebody like Mayor Pete. So, and Bloomberg has done very well, which is odd considering the fact that he has not that he's playing a Trump gif over my entire face.
Sorry, I'm not doing it to interrupt anything. I'm trying to find, it's actually the wrong one. I was trying to find this thing I have of Bloomberg. Sorry, continue on. I don't ignore the man behind the mirror. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Okay. I lost my train of thought.
Sorry,
I don't know what I was going to say.
That wasn't supposed to distract. All right. Okay. Mayor Pete comes to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Thousands of people in line to see this guy.
I believe it was 4,000 was the count, if I remember offhand.
Now, I have a feeling, this is based on nothing but a feeling, okay? But I have this feeling that he really does appeal to my local culture because of a couple of factors. Even though you might say, and this is a wrong-headed thing to actually think because there's data that proves otherwise, but Salt Lake City, everyone thinks it's just like ultra-conservative and therefore we must hate the gays. But as it turns out, it's always ranked every year as one of the most gay-friendly cities in the country. I can't speak for Utah County or go down to Provo or any of that, but the city itself and its surrounding burbs, we have this reputation for being very welcoming in that regard. And so a lot of people, are not surprised when you go downtown and you see lots and lots of gay couples. They're just everywhere. I went to breakfast the other day and I sat next to two gay couples having breakfast together, talking about their lives, and it was great. Gay things, right, Brian? Gay things.
Talking about gay things.
Gay things. Anyway, so that doesn't surprise
Were
me.
Were they wearing like a jacket, or when quarterbacks have to wear like a red jersey during practice, or
no, they
hunters have to wear an orange jacket?
Definitely
how
not
did you
that.
identify them as gay?
Well, part of what they were saying was definitely things like stuff a gay couple would talk about.
You want to know what I immediately regret?
I'm not gonna tell you what, because I don't want to get into it. But
let's just move along.
But they were also very. They were just clean and dressed well, and all the things all the stereotypes are true. Okay, it's all true. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
Did you watch the last episode of The Masked Singer? Oh, it must be gay.
Yeah, it must be gay. So but forget about that for a minute. They were. Oh, also one of them kissed the guy next to him and said, "Hang on, I'll be right back." And one of them called him no worries babe or something, and he went the other way. I'm confident they were gay, but that's not important about this story. The story is this: we're a gay friendly city.
There's only one way to be sure, and it's up to you.
So here's the thing, though. All right, so there's that factor. Then there's this other factor that leads me to think that Pete would pull really well here, and that is, people respect a bunch of things in my local culture. One of them is military service. He has that.
Yeah.
They respect fidelity, and yes, in some ways it seems like it goes against
fidelity.
Yeah.
Oh, that he's married.
That he's married and that he doesn't cheat on his husband. That he seems to be a devoted husband, right? And doesn't sleep around.
Gotcha.
So that's a big deal. And also he's just kind of looks like some nerd who's a little more conservative than everybody else. He's not walking around like Sanders going, all the time. And he's not like, you know what I mean? Like he's just sort of in his tie and his suit, and he's sort of up there going, well, he's definitely, centrist-y for a guy who happens to be gay, but for whatever reason,
he's the most centrist.
He's the most centrist of the group.
Friends and enemies would call him a centrist.
Right. And so there's something about all of that I think it makes him appealing here. And so I was not surprised to hear that there were I guess I may be a little surprised at the volume, but 4,000 people waiting in line to see Mayor Pete was not too big of a shock. I actually think he would do really well. So
Utah is a Super Tuesday state. It also votes on March 3rd.
Yeah.
In a few weeks, and that's really going to tell the tale. I mean, traditionally where we're at right now is when campaigns' backs start to get broken. You start to see the money run out and the enthusiasm run out. We haven't really seen that, and that's partly why I think Bernie Sanders is going to win in Nevada. Not only the fact that he has built a very good campaign and he knows exactly who he is speaking to, but there's really no galvanizing candidate that channels the people that don't like him. Right now you have effectively 4 people, especially in Nevada, running for that centrist lane in Buttigieg, Steyer, Klobuchar, and Biden. Each of them are probably pointing at each other saying, man, this sure would be a lot easier if you would drop out, and then it goes on down the line. But, Pete's in a very interesting position because I do think that the Bloomberg hype has totally wiped out a usually fairly reliable element of this process, and that is if you win Iowa, which, although disputed, Pete did by the standard definition that we normally judge it by, at least for now, and he came very close in New Hampshire, that usually comes with a lot of buzz. That usually comes with a lot of attention. And we have not seen that when you have somebody that is peeling off $200 million worth of their own money to buy television and radio ads that, you can say realistically that it's obviously something that's novel and therefore it is a news story. Or maybe one could say cynically that if the perilous world of cable television and broadcast television advertising is now all of a sudden buoyed by tens of millions of dollars in ad spend, maybe you would like for that to keep going.
I think that's a pretty good point. All right. Tell me about Klobuchar's chances now that she has the Klobumentum or whatever I heard.
I don't know if the Klobumentum, much like players in the Oregon Trail, I don't know if Klobumentum will survive the death of dysentery as it crosses the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I think, look, New Hampshire is a very fickle, well, not fickle, a very contrarian state. There is a reason why that for all of its goof nuts effery, Iowa is far more predictive of who gets the nomination than New Hampshire, because I think New Hampshire very much values its independent streak, and they found a champion in Klobuchar, and that's where a lot of the decaying energy from the Biden campaign coalesced. I don't see a lot of polling evidence to say that she is doing any better in Nevada than she was otherwise, but then again, there's not a ton of polling to suggest that Pete is doing any better than he was doing before Iowa. But also there's not a lot of polling in Nevada in general. So we honestly don't know. Nevada still shows Joe Biden in the second place position, which if the trend holds in the previous two contests, as people get closer and closer to voting, they get further away from voting for Joe Biden. But maybe the deserts of Nevada hold a little bit of hope for old Joe, old smoking Joe.
And I'm sorry, did you say who was in the lead in Nevada? Is it Bernie?
Bernie.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, Bernie's look, Bernie has, to me, there are two campaigns that know exactly who their audience is and speak exactly to them the way that excites them, and that is Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. And I don't really think that there's anybody even a close second. Everybody else is still figuring out exactly how you want to talk to people, and they're trying out trial balloons as to what is going to get people excited. But I don't think it's a coincidence that Bernie Sanders just put 17 million people into an arena in Tacoma last night. I don't think it's a coincidence that Donald Trump has been able to go into the backyard of all these early contests and pack out stadiums. He's going to do it again in Las Vegas, although it'll be at a convention center and not a stadium. But he'll probably gather, like he has in the previous contest, the largest crowd gathered by a candidate, and he's not effectively going to be on the. Actually, he's officially not going to be on the ballot in Nevada. He effectively was only in nominal contests in the previous two.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that crowd size is necessarily the defining factor, but I do often think that it is a sign of your connection to your hardcore base. And I don't think that anybody is close than, to where those two are with their bases.
So you continue down the road of jury picked Bernie to begin with, and now it's going to... I'm with you. I actually think you're right about all this, but your prediction is going to happen. Do you have any money on this? You got anything riding on whether Bernie gets the nomination?
Twitter clout, baby.
Twitter clout.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay. No, I didn't bet on it, but yeah, from a year out, I said it was going to be Bernie, largely because not because I'm brilliant. It's because I'm I might be dumb, but I'm not an effing idiot, and I didn't want to be wrong on a nomination the same way twice with Trump. I mean, all anybody said about Trump was that he had a high ceiling and a low floor, and he was too extreme, and he would never be embraced by the rest of the party, and the party would fight against him, and lo, they did. And then at the end of the day, they maybe.
Oh, now they're giving him political hand jobs every day. They love him now. They're into it.
Well, because he won. I mean, winners get support.
Yeah.
If you win, then people will flock to you, and Trump is very popular within his party. I think that you're going to see a lot of pushback against Bernie. I think depending on what happens in Nevada, you're going to see. I mean, I don't know. The question is, I don't know whether or not there will be a push for some of the folks that have run in the centrist lane to drop out after Nevada as we go into South Carolina, or if everybody in the Democratic Party is kind of so cowed by Bloomberg's wealth that they're just going to say, no, all four of you should drop out.
Yeah.
Pete should drop out. Biden should drop out. Klobuchar should drop out. Steyer should drop out. All of y'all should drop out because our new daddy is Bloomberg, which is just hilarious. Like, it is one of the funniest things that I can imagine watching. Like, at least Nick doesn't probably remember. How old was Nick in 2004?
He was 4. He was born in 2000.
Old, right?
He was 4 years
so
old.
So he's not going to remember the fact that Bloomberg was giving a rousing speech for George W. Bush at the Republican National Convention.
Yeah,
right?
he's not going to remember that. He's not going to remember, like, I think what he's seeing is kind of the simplistic view, but he's seeing this view of, and I'm encouraging him to explore this stuff and, make decisions for himself. But he's seeing this very simplistic view of rich guy in power. It might take another rich guy to do it. I think that's how he sees it.
Yeah.
Like a opposite.
But in general, it is hilarious to me that Bloomberg is now the savior. And it is a sign of how dependent politics is on the donor class. And this is what happens when one of the donors decides to go mask off and just say, screw it, I'll do it myself. And I don't think it's any coincidence that the people that are coming out and endorsing him, he's given money to. He is regarded better within. Here's the funniest part: he is regarded better within the Democratic Party because he has given a ton of money to the Democratic Party. He was part of the funding that helped them take back the House. And now Democrats have to wrestle with what the cost of that was. If they don't like him, right? If they like him, then hooray, right? Look at this guy. He might spend, we have only now recently over the past few cycles gotten used to the idea of presidential campaigns spending $1 billion between what comes in officially and what is spent via super PACs. But Bloomberg has said that he is willing to spend around $2 billion. That would be almost double what we have already understood to be a very expensive thing. Again, he's spent close to $300 million before his name is even going to be on a ballot that anybody can vote on.
Yeah.
Like, this is spending the likes of which we have never really seen, a strategy the likes of which we have never really seen, and combined with the fact that Iowa was such a screw up, we're looking at a race the likes of which that nobody has ever really seen before.
And he's in this Wednesday's debate. This will be the first debate.
Finally, yeah.
Right? He qualified?
Yeah. So the DNC decided after running some of the candidates off based on the idea that they had not raised enough individual donor money. So basically, it wasn't just the amount of money you would raise. You had to raise it from enough people. And so that's why they made Tom Steyer, also a billionaire, but not as big of a billionaire as Bloomberg. They made him go out and beg for dollars, literally, like to go out and make ads saying, I don't need your money, but the DNC needs for me to have you give me $1. And he raised enough. He spent a ton on advertising and he got enough people to give him $1. Bloomberg rolls in and the DNC says, oh, that individual donor thing, whatever. So they didn't even make him beg for dollars. They literally just hand waved him in, and he finally hit the polling threshold before tonight's midnight deadline. But he will be on stage in Las Vegas doing his first debate. And on the PX3 episode on Wednesday, you will hear some of his debate habits, what he does well at, what he doesn't do good at least in his past debates as for New York City mayor.
All right, so now that we've come to this point, I'm going to tell you what my final advice was to Nick and his friends. Okay. And this may be too simplistic, and this may be too Pollyannish of me. I don't care. This is what I told him. I said, Nick, you want to vote for people that you can imagine in a car on a country road, driving down that road, and seeing off to the side an injured dog. Which candidate do you think would pull over and check and see if they can help that dog? And if you can't picture them doing that, I wouldn't vote for them. That was my advice. Is that weird? Is it going to get me in trouble? Because for example, Trump would never stop for an injured dog. Never in his life. Not once.
Beat up.
I don't think Bloomberg would, and I don't think Bernie would. I think Mayor Pete would stop. I think Klobuchar would stop. I think Elizabeth Warren would probably stop. I can't speak for Steyer or anybody else. Yang, I think would.
I mean, Warren's made a big deal about dogs. I would guess it's a very bizarre metric, I think, to depart on your child. But
my point is it shows it's the kind of character of a person you want to have in the office, and then that can permeate throughout the office. So even if you don't agree with all their policies, or if you don't agree with all
but isn't that also, I guess it's like everybody makes their own decision based on what they are looking at. But I don't know if any of them would stop for a dog, to be honest with you.
If you can't, whether they would or wouldn't is obviously subjective, but whether you can picture them doing it is where I'm getting at. And so that speaks to how are they presenting themselves. And sometimes I'm being maybe sold as a bill of goods that aren't accurate, but you know, I'm willing to bet. I'll bet you George Bush Jr. would stop for an ailing dog. I bet Obama would.
Oh, W. Mm-hmm.
I think Clinton probably would not. He'd probably say, "Can I put my penis in its corpse?" Then no way, don't stop the car.
Oh my good God, Jesus Christ!
Or, hold on, I got other presidents here.
This one took a turn.
Sorry, I was just listening to a thing about Clinton today.
I don't
I'm
stop
so
for
annoyed
dogs.
with him.
Only pussy.
Wow. And I'm supposed to be the vulgar one.
So it's all about political.
I figured
yeah, political hand jobs and corpse penetration are my two.
Dog corpse penetration. Forgot that modifier.
All right. Tell us. So where are you going to be? Are you doing any meetups? You doing anything fun? Like, what are you doing over there while you're there? Anything cool?
I don't know if I'm doing anything in Vegas, mostly because I'm in Vegas so much. I don't know if it's novel for anybody who lives there to see me. But I will likely do something in South Carolina, and I'll announce that as we get closer. But otherwise, look, I don't know if there is literally anybody else that is currently on the campaign trail solely via Patreon. I know there's a lot of political podcasts that are making a lot of money on Patreon. I don't know if any of them are dumb enough to immediately spend it on self-financing travel throughout this great country of ours. Yeah. If you think that is worthwhile, if you think that having a direct access to the person who's literally on the ground amongst these crowds and seeing how things are going, if you think that is valuable to you, then I would encourage you to head on over to takepoliticsseriously.com and chip in on the Patreon, because I just paid the credit card bill for the first two trips. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Don't know how much I'm taking in, but
yep.
I love doing it. I think that it is valuable. And if I am the only one that's doing it, then I'm glad that people have the option. If you think that that's interesting, and also all patrons, no matter what, $3 you get the bonus episodes. But all patrons, no matter at what level, I'm doing these road diaries. So I put up my road diaries for Iowa and New Hampshire last night. I'm happy with them. They're written in a style that is evocative of the books The Making of the President by Theodore White, which I researched for the 1960 podcast, Raise the Dead. It's much more of like an epic war poem than it is a tell-all. I think it's kind of written so it can be understood and parsed in like 50 years, which I really, really enjoyed about Making of the President. But if you like that style, then I think you're really going to like these road diaries, and they're going to come out as I hit each of these towns.
Well, here's audio proof that you are truly the last one willing to spend all of your earnings on doing it for the people. Is a line that proves it.
I am the last one.
All right, well done. Keep that up. It's Justin R. Young on Twitter, everybody, and make sure check out all his stuff. It's great. Justin, have a fantastic day. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye now.
See ya.
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know why people are surprised I didn't like Bill Clinton. I can't stand Bill Clinton. He's horrible. People in the chat are like, I didn't know Scott hated Bill Clinton.
I think the word so much surprised that you don't like Bill Clinton is surprised how you voiced that you don't like Bill Clinton. The surprised by the turn it took.
Well, yes, it did take a bit of a turn.
just a wee bit of a turn.
I feel bad for the dog, is all I'm saying. All right, that's going to do it for today's program. When this all ends, I'm going to the gym, and I'm very excited because last time I was there was a naked guy with a really long scrotum, and I'm excited to see if that guy's there again, so that if he's there, I can
watch your feet.
Watch your feet, but also I can enjoy talking about it with Brian later, because often those, we get show stuff out of that. So we'll see how that goes. Brian, before we go, though, we should probably play a song. Oh, and before we do that, I should say, hey, folks,
people should contact us in ways.
Yeah, if look, you like the show already, you're into it, and you're listening to it, and you even like how some of the weird dark places I went today, you're thinking to yourselves, man, I'd sure like to help promote that. Hey, why not patreon.com/TMS? Patreon.com/TMS. Do that, because on Fridays we do this bonus show that you can't get any other way. It's called TMS PM, and that's how you get it. It's behind that wall. So come get that. But many other benefits as well. It's all there for you at patreon.com/TMS. And you can find us, ways to contact us, everything else at frogpants.com/TMS.
Oh, Captain Kipper, that might be the worst GIF I've ever seen.
Oh, let's take a look here. I'm not putting it up on screen. I'm just going to look at it. Okay. Oh, geez! Is that legit? That's real, right? That goat was real.
How do you deep fake that? That's a yak or something walking with a very, basically the same type of scrotum that Scott just described, and
that's really foul.
It's smacking his hips like that little drum thing that Daniel-san used to simulate karate moves in Okinawa and Karate Kid 2.
Yep, there it is. I think they make noise when they move like that. Yep.
Hey, Sean wrote in.
Oh, real quick before that, Kurt the Cast in the chat says, warning, there are 2 Patreons. Wish I knew, even though they are both worth more than my dollar. No, they're not. There's one. It's TMS. For this show, there's one Patreon. TMS.
There can be only one.
There's only one. And then for Core, there's another one. There's a Patreon for Core. There's a Patreon for my personal one, which is like all art and kind of, extra stuff. There's a TMS Patreon. You are supporting TMS when you support that one. There is no multiple Patreons for this show.
Gets you into the games, the Patreon play dates coming up February 29th.
Yeah.
Gets you access to all the fun stuff, the pre and post show and all that.
One Patreon to rule them all for TMS. If you want to support Core, you support Core. If you want to support the Frog Pants one, you're supporting art and comics and Fred and Can and all that. So that's not confusing. Kurt, you should not be confused. All right.
Right.
Brian?
Right,
continue on. Someone wrote in.
Sean wrote in, said, hey, SNB, longtime listener, first-time requester. I'm turning 50 on the 18th. Happy birthday, Sean. And I thought it'd be cool to hear a song that is also turning 50. Pink Floyd squeezed out the album Adam Hart Mother in 1970, the same year I was, I guess, squeezed out. And though it'd be nice to hear a 20-minute cover of Adam Hart Mother's Suite or Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast, there are 3 other lovely and more digestible songs on the album. I'd be pleased as punch to hear any of them. Love the Scojo and the Bry Eye. Signed, Sean.
Nice.
Yeah. Those early Pink Floyd albums, very different from Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall and Final Cut and all those, but really good. The 3 songs he describes are Fat Old Sun, Summer 68, and the song If. I didn't have covers of any of those three in my library, but I rectified that situation, and I got a cover of If this morning from a tribute that was on Bandcamp that was really good that I never even knew existed. So I'm glad that he got me aware of it. The album is called Echoes of Secrets, a Pink Floyd tribute. It's a various artists compilation on Bandcamp, and it includes this cover of If by Lila Madrigali. Lila Madrigali.
Oh, it's nice.
Here's her cover of Pink Floyd's If.
See you guys tomorrow. Goodbye. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Frog Pants Network. Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I only call it that after I've had a whole handful of Cheetos.
Do not remember what Dunaway was talking about.
The context of that, yeah.